not going to be able to demonstrate it today because I haven't got the tools to do that. But basically what we do is we bring the chair up into that position, in a flat rise position. Now if I just keep raising it as a carer, I can feed someone really easily. It's really hard work trying to feed someone in a rise recliner, because there's nowhere for the carer's chair to go, so they end up being at a really awkward angle. They don't want to stand up because then they're having to bend down low to feed someone. But if you raise the chair up, actually I can feed someone really easily at the right height. Also, placing a sling is really good at the right height. Same as when we're placing a sling on the bed. We raise the bed so we're not going down here. But on a chair, normally you've got to come down and work with the person and lift up the leg and do all of that in this position. But actually if you raise the seat, and actually the seat height probably goes to about here, which is quite high, and I can come in front of my clients and lift the legs and put the sling in underneath. So from a carer's perspective, there are some real benefits here, which can make it really compatible with hoisting equipment, so full hoists. It's very compatible with these types of pieces of equipment as well, because the flat rise, all you're doing is raising it a little bit to allow for the platform to go underneath, and then I'm still in this position. I'm not tilted forward, I'm in a nice upright position, I'm right at the back of the chair, and I'm able to use my lower limb strength and my upper body strength to get myself in position. Whereas when you are in a tilt position, it's already a little bit awkward, having to be in a tilt position and using this equipment. So those are some of the key benefits. Another one, has anyone worked with somebody with muscular dystrophy, where they need to lock out the knees? So sometimes when people have muscular dystrophy, they lock out their knees and then they'll do their transfer. Now, as you can see, that's quite hard work in a chair this height. I have to really try and push myself up, and it'd be really difficult. It's also really difficult when I'm in here as well, because actually even then it's really, I'm still having to push myself up. The floor's got in my way a little bit too soon. Whereas if it was on a chair that is raised and it's higher up, essentially that's what I'm able to do. I'm able to get my legs underneath my body before standing up with my knees locked. So those are the key benefits of having the chair in a flat rise. You've got your carer access, you've got your ability to manage with all stand aids and still encouraging the person to do as much for themselves as possible, and you've also got the ability to lock at the knees and do that transfer there. So 3 different lift mechanisms. Okay, so that's how we're talking about the compatibility with the transfer aids. If we look at the next picture, so we're looking now at the reduced shear recline. Has anyone sat in a riser recliner and reclined backrest? Yeah? What tends to happen? Is it comfortable, uncomfortable? Uncomfortable. Talk us through, why is that uncomfortable?
It's just uncomfortable, throwing back, and you just feel like you're slipping down.
You're slipping down. And then what happens when you exactly that, and what happens when you want to come back up again?
Yeah, you're in the wrong spot, you're
Yeah, exactly that. That's the only way to explain it. How many times have you seen clients get into that position? And we, thankfully, have the strength to go from here to do that. They don't have the strength to do that. So they end up in a crushed position for long periods of time throughout the day, and it's really, really uncomfortable. We don't want that. So we have that with our old version of this chair, and this is the new and improved version, where what we've done is we've repositioned the angle, the position of the hinge that works the backrest. And it's now a little bit more in line with the human body. So now, if I go back, hopefully you'll see, I'm not going to tell you that it is perfect. I still feel a little bit of movement with my t-shirt coming out of my trousers a little bit. I will still feel that. But nowhere near as much. I've gone back and now I'm bringing myself up again. And my posture is okay. Yeah? I haven't been crushed. I've maintained my posture. So it's a little bit less can go wrong with a client. If they want to sleep in their chair, which obviously we never want to encourage, but reality is, you know, it happens. If they are using this chair to sleep in it, not a problem. Well, slight problem, but less than a problem because of the fact that they are able to maintain a good position and use lots of different positions throughout the day and the night. So they're getting a combination of different positions. So if I now bring myself into a recline, into a tilt, I want to actually, what's happening now? Talk me through what mechanisms, what is the mechanism doing now? Legs are coming up, and what else? Anything else happening?
Tilting back.
Tilting.
Yeah, you have got some.
Have I? Oh yeah, I've just got that. That's fine. Sorry. I didn't actually mean to knock it over. Okay, so as you can see, legs are coming up and I've tilted. So my angle between the base of my seat and their backrest hasn't been maintained. That in itself can manage someone's posture greatly because the gravity just allows them to come back into it and maintain a good position rather than having to stay upright in a normal seating position. And now if I wanted to, what I would do is go and bring myself all the way back. That's different to a lot of standard riser recliners. Okay, so you can see I can get into quite a range of movement here, a range of positions here. And then if I want to bring myself back up again, all I'm doing is I can do it in this direction or I can do the backrest up first. Point is I've got lots of choice of different positions to get into. I can stop there and bring myself up into the upright position. Okay. One of the other things you'll notice, which helps with those that do tend to sleep in their chair, is that all of the contact areas, so your armrest, your seat rest, and your leg rest and your backrest, they are all covered in VP fabric, vapor permeable, 4-way stretch fabric. Same sort of fabric as you get on your mattress covers and your cushion covers. That reduces the risk of pressure build-up because your skin can just immerse into the fabric a little more easily, so it allows for pressure distribution more so than in a lot of other, against a lot of other fabrics. So when you are thinking of people that do sleep in their chair and won't have it any other way, this can be a good option because you are reducing the risk. You're managing their needs a little bit more. Okay, so that's talked about the reduced shear backrest, and we talked about the pressure reducing fabric throughout. The other thing is it used to be black on the inside and now it's actually blends in a little bit more so. The rest of it is actually Duratec fabric, so it is wipe clean. You can get detergent and wipe it clean, and that's all on the other areas that are not in contact with the client. And there's possibly going to be an option of a vinyl option as well. The option of vinyl is just this one here, and it's a little bit lighter in colour, so it blends in even better, to be honest. Okay. Size, pressure, posture. Those three key elements, yeah? So let's talk about how we can accommodate different sizes, pressure needs and posture needs. So, size, we talk about height first of all. So we know that just by changing the height of the chair, we can enable someone sometimes to be more independent with their transfer. We also want the chair to be the right height, so when they're sat on the chair, their feet are firmly on the ground without the need to shuffle back, because if you're shuffling, you're increasing risk of shear and friction, and you're decreasing comfort levels, to be honest. The likeness is they won't get into a perfect position. So what we've got is this first picture here is a height adjustment kit. Am I in the way? Or yeah, okay. So it's a height adjustment kit. So you can see there's one long one and one short one. They both are for increasing the height by 1 inch. Okay. So if I just show you over here, there are two options. You can increase the height by 1 inch and by 2 inches. The taller one will come at the back here, and the shorter one will come at the back at the front there. And obviously you can see this is on the ground, that's higher than this one, so you're having to compensate for those, and that's why I've got the two different types there. So it's important to know that what you're doing is you're just screwing it into a hole over there and the hole over here, and you're raising the height either by 1 inch or by 2 inches. And again, that in itself can make all the difference with comfort and transfer as well. But if we raise the chair, okay, what I didn't actually talk about was taking measurements, sorry, I just went through that by mistake. So if we're looking at seat height, seat depth and seat width, okay, so which one of those do you think is the least important measurement? Any thoughts? Which one is going to, pardon?
They're all pretty important.
They are all pretty important, absolutely right. But
The question is the height.
Pardon?
Is the height?
No, that's really important. I would say that the width is the least important, because I think the width is going to impact the least on your transfer and your posture and your pressure distribution. So if I sit on this chair now, pretty good fit. It is a little bit wider than I would normally recommend for a person, not impacting on me, not affecting my transfer. It may, in some cases, affect your posture, but we can compensate for that in other ways by using additional postural support. So the width is not so important. The only thing to consider is, can the person reach the armrests to manage their transfer or sit comfortably if that's what they want to do. But the seat height and the seat depth are really key to getting the person in the chair in the right position. And once they're in the chair in the right position, what have they got? Better pressure distribution, better posture management, better ability, easier ability to do their transfer as well, and it's going to be a lot more comfortable for them. So when we talk about measuring someone, just a couple of pointers that I think are quite helpful, hopefully. I would look at getting the person on a dining chair, a chair like this, or on a bed or a plinth, rather than in an armchair. And the reason for that is I've got access. I can see exactly what's going on here. It's not always possible, and it's not always going to be simple to measure someone. The more extra body mass a person has, the harder it is to measure them. So I understand that. This should give you the confidence to know that as long as you've kind of got it right, you can probably adjust the chair to meet their needs if it's not quite right the first time round. So I take a pen, put it in between over here. Now I don't want them to go like that to keep it in place, because if I do that, that's not going to give me an accurate measurement for their seat height. So I will get them to try and be in a 90-degree angle if possible. If they are in a chair that is way too high for them, then actually what I might do is ask them to sit on the chair and maybe put a book underneath their feet or something like that to create a 90-degree, because then I'll have a clear insight into what height they need it to be. If their leg is hanging down, that's not going to give me a clear indication. I need it to be at 90-degree angle. Pen goes in, and again, the more body mass, the easier it will stay in place, if I'm honest. It will keep it in place. Pen, measure from here down to the floor. What have I got to take into consideration?